On the day I was supposed to become his wife, my fiancé chose another woman and called it temporary. So I pulled every dollar out of his company and watched his empire collapse. 6 years of love ended in one move. I was on my way to try on wedding dresses when my fiancé called. The wedding's off. Vivian's pregnant and her fiancé dumped her. A child can't grow up without a father. I'm going to marry Vivian first. I'll make it up to you in a couple of years. She and I are like brother and sister. Don't overthink this. The air locked in my chest. My mind went blank. The line was already dead, but I'd already seen it. The chat between Stuart and his assistant, left open on the study computer. Vivian came back from abroad for me. If I betrayed her to marry that woman, imagine how devastated she'd be. His assistant had replied right away, "Aren't you worried Miss Hughes will be disappointed enough to leave you?" Stuart's voice message dripped with contempt. Delgado Corp is about to go public. I'll be worth billions. You really think she'd walk away from that? So rather than betray Vivian, he'd betray the woman who'd waited 6 years. 6 years of devotion, and none of it could compete with one backward glance from his childhood sweetheart. Fine. Then I'd give them exactly what they wanted. I didn't hesitate. I called my father and asked him to pull every last dollar out of Delgado Corp. 1. My father's voice sharpened. Aren't you two getting married in a couple of days? Did that bastard hurt you? At this stage, right before the IPO, losing their largest investor would be catastrophic for Stuart. The moment I opened my mouth, my voice cracked. There is no wedding. He's marrying someone else. Don't you worry. Daddy will handle this. Even through the phone, his fury was deafening. After I hung up, my mind drifted back 6 years. Delgado Corp had been on the verge of bankruptcy. Stuart's childhood sweetheart, Vivian Porter, had left him. I was the one who secretly begged my father to prop the company up from behind the scenes and set it back on track. And I was the one who walked Stuart out of the wreckage of that heartbreak, step by step. 6 years together. Then, on my birthday, he got down on one knee and promised to make me the happiest woman alive. Then Vivian came back. And everything changed. My phone shattered the silence of the study. "Leonora Hughes, get here now. Stuart's in a fight." In the background, I could hear Stuart roaring. "Apologize to my fiancé, or I'll make sure you regret it." The word hit like a fist to the sternum. He just told me the wedding was postponed. And already he was calling someone else his fiancé. I rushed to the club and found Stuart cradling a delicate, sobbing woman in his arms. One of Stuart's friends pulled me aside, his face tight with worry. Some guys said Vivian was dressed like a hooker. Stuart heard and lost it. "He's wasted. You need to talk him down." A client had once harassed me, told me to sleep with him to close the deal. Stuart hadn't been angry. He'd blamed me for being difficult, said I'd cost him business. Now here he was, so drunk he could barely stand, yet raging like a wild animal because someone had said one unkind word about Vivian Porter. Mid-argument, one of the men swung a bottle at Stuart's head. My body moved before my brain caught up. I threw myself in front of him. Crack. The bottle shattered against my forehead. A dull, spreading pain. Something warm and wet crept down from my hairline. "You crazy bitch. You jumped in front of me. I didn't touch you." The man's face went white. He dropped the bottle and bolted. Glass crunched under his shoes as he fled. Blood ran down my cheeks, warm and sticky. The concern I'd been praying for never came. Instead, Stuart's voice exploded in my ear. "What the hell is wrong with you, Leonora? Didn't you see what they were doing to Vivian? You just let the guy walk out? Was that on purpose?" Every word froze the blood in my veins. Some pathetic part of me had wanted to see if he would lose his mind for me the way he did for Vivian, but there was no tenderness in his eyes, no protectiveness, only rage. Why was I so desperate? Stuart had already decided I was there to cause trouble. "What are you even doing here? Came to laugh at Vivian? Pack up that pitiful pride of yours. Let me make this clear. As long as I'm around, nobody touches her." Tears of humiliation burned behind my eyes. I wasn't. Vivian cut me off with a sob. "Stuart, this is all my fault for coming to you for help. Leonora has every right to hate me. I should just go. You two can have your wedding." Stuart melted instantly. He wiped her tears with a gentleness I hadn't seen in years. "Don't you dare. She's the petty one, not you. You've done nothing wrong." One of his friends, trying to break the tension, held out a glass of wine toward me. "A toast to you, Mrs. Delgado." Stuart snapped at him before the glass reached my hand. "Don't you know she's allergic to alcohol?" So he remembered. After all this time, he actually remembered. Then Vivian let out a teary little laugh. Silly. He was toasting Leonora, not me. Stuart's face cleared. He gave a satisfied nod. "Oh, her. She can drink. Especially when she's entertaining clients." The words burned through me until there was nothing left. I told him I was allergic the very first day I joined Delgado Corp, and every time there was a business dinner, I was the first one he sent to pour drinks. I'd broken out in hives. I'd ended up in the hospital with a perforated stomach lining. He called me dramatic, said I was faking sick over a few glasses of wine. It wasn't that he couldn't remember. He'd simply never cared. Not about me. Seeing him with Vivian made that unbearably clear. I swallowed the bitterness, picked up the glass, and drained it in one go. "Stuart Delgado, I wish you both a lifetime of happiness. ##### Chapter 2. Stuart's brow furrowed instantly, his voice sharp with impatience. All I did was get a marriage certificate with Vivian. What's with the passive-aggressive attitude? I know you're upset, so I'll give you a sum of money as compensation. That should be enough, right? I had already cried every tear I had for this man. Wasting any more heartbreak on him wasn't worth it. I held his gaze, steady and unblinking, and asked my final question. "Stuart, in these 6 years, did you ever love me?" His frown only deepened. "You know Vivian's pregnant, and you insist on saying things like that in front of her? Are you trying to upset her? Just don't make a scene. After 2 years, I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Isn't that enough?" The rest of his life making it up to me. I had waited over 2,000 days and nights for him to promise me forever. Instead, I watched him give forever to someone else. If what he felt for Vivian was only like a sister, why would such a simple question threaten to break her heart? There was no rest of his life left for me, Stuart. I couldn't afford to gamble anymore. I turned to leave, but he suddenly remembered something and called me back. "Contact all your friends and family right away. Tell them the wedding is off. Say you changed your mind at the last minute and decided you didn't want to marry me." I nodded, calm. "Fine. I went to the hospital to get my wound bandaged, then headed straight back to Delgado Corp to wrap up my work. Back at the office, I posted on social media that the wedding was cancelled. The well-meaning advice came almost immediately. Girl, are you crazy? He's about to be the CEO of a publicly traded company. You stuck it out this long, and now you're throwing it away right before the payoff? Why? A catch like that, and women are lining up to throw themselves at him. And here you are, handing him over on a silver platter. I didn't reply. Soon enough, he wouldn't be any of those things. I was sorting through files when a friend request from Vivian popped up on my phone. The moment I accepted, a photo of a marriage certificate came through. Someone really does love me to death. After that little scene today, he took me straight to get our certificate just to make me feel better. In the photo, the two of them were beaming, faces pressed together. It burned behind my eyes like staring into the sun. I turned off my phone. 6 years with Stuart. To protect his pride, I hid who I was. I lived with him in a rundown studio apartment, survived on dry bread. I even went through 5 abortions in those 6 years. All because he said he wanted to wait for the right moment to give me and our children a stable, happy home. In the end, he kept that promise for someone else. I finished copying my files, then got up to make coffee in the break room. I stopped in the doorway. A few coworkers were huddled at the counter, whispering, "Did you hear? The bride isn't Leonora. It's his childhood sweetheart. Apparently this Vivian girl is the one he's been hung up on for years. I saw her in the office once. Way prettier than Leonora. No wonder he could never let go. Ha! Leonora spent all those years chasing him, and she ended up with nothing. That's hilarious." Every word sliced into me like a blade. I pretended I hadn't heard a thing and walked straight back to my office. Then I began placing my belongings into a box, one by one. These same employees used to call me sis to my face. Now that they knew I wasn't the bride, I'd already been downgraded to the desperate ex who couldn't take a hint. The door slammed open without warning. Stuart stormed in, swept my box off the desk with one arm, and sent everything crashing to the floor. His face was white-hot with rage. "What is wrong with you? I told you to say you were the one who called it off. Now everyone out there is calling Vivian a homewrecker. Did you spread that on purpose? Post a correction right now, and then apologize to Vivian. She's so upset she's threatening to terminate the pregnancy." Listening to him hurl accusations at me, I almost laughed.